49ers news and rumors mailbag coming your way on the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Before I start answering all of your questions, as we go live every single Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, we're going to be doing another watch party for this big game with playoff implications in the NFC playoff picture this upcoming Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. We'll be going live 15 minutes before kickoff, 4:10 p.m. Eastern, 1:10 p.m. Pacific. The tequila's going to be flowing, so too are the beers. Subscribe and join us. Start this mailbag off with this question from Yolanda. Do you think Jimmy G will stay for next season, or do you think that he will get traded? I think anything's in play. His cap hit for next year is north of $26 million. So if Trey Lance is ready, I think he could end up getting dealt because you're going to have to potentially pay Nick Bosa, maybe even Deebo Samuel as well. And if you trade Jimmy Garoppolo, and there's a team out there that wants to fork over a first or second round pick, you might have to take that if, and that's the big word, if Trey Lance is ready to rock. Emmanuel Milan, Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year. He could. Leads the league in tackles for loss with 15. He also has 10 sacks on the year, which is a career high for him. That is tied for 5th in the NFL, behind the likes of Myles Garrett, right in line with Matthew Judon, and some of the best pass rushers in the league. So Nick Bosa, with how valuable he's been to the 49ers defense, if they continue to win games and they get into the playoffs with a pretty good record and he continues to put up stupid numbers, I kind of look at these awards from this standpoint. If you took that player away, either an MVP award, defensive player, offensive player, what would those units and what would that team look like? Without Nick Bosa on defense, 49ers defense would be bad and they would not have a pass rush. It's Flame. What do you think about the Niners playoff window? They're right in the heat of this NFC playoff picture. They are 5-5 right now. This game on Sunday going to do wonders if they can win for their playoff hopes, because in this new 17-game, 18-week schedule, tiebreakers every year are important, especially in a year like this as they continue to expand those wild card teams. Look, the second place team in the NFC West is going to get one of those wild card spots. And then outside of that, there are so many teams in the running. Niners, Vikings, Saints, Philly, Carolina, Atlanta, although I think they're out. Washington is streaking a little bit. So the Niners have to win this game this weekend. If they lose, of course they're still going to have a shot. They have one of the easiest remaining schedules. But this game this weekend, massive. And if the Niners can win it, I like those playoff chances. Next question coming in from, can I get a Niners? Niners, what are your keys for a 49ers win over the Minnesota Vikings? I think they have to continue to play like they've played the last 2.5 games, because I think that Arizona game, even though they lost to Colt McCoy, who going into that one was 8-22 as a starter, by the way, there were some moments at the end where I think they started to find a little bit of a rhythm. Establish the ground game because that opens up the pass game for Jimmy Garoppolo, who's somewhat limited as a passer. Win the turnover battle. Niners have been able to do that. Back-to-back wins, 4 turnovers to nothing. Continue to dominate. Time of possession. They've dominated in that regard, which has led to them outscoring their opponents 61-20 in those back-to-back consecutive wins against the Rams as well as the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the defense going to have to hold up on the back end against a 1-2 punch at the receiver spot. That's very, very good with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. Show some love right now to San Francisco. If you think the 49ers can beat the Minnesota Vikings, as I mentioned, we're going to be doing a watch party. Hit that thumbs up icon and like this video. 2 5-5 teams meeting at Levi's Stadium, vying for a playoff spot in the NFC. I think the Niners can win, so I'm hitting that thumbs up icon right now. Tommy Huxley, $2 super chat. What is more important, stop Cook or the receivers? I'd say the receivers, because in nowadays pass-happy NFL, if you take away those guys and take away those big plays, it can really stunt the momentum that maybe a team is able to establish. And for Kirk Cousins, if you stop him in the air, I think you can win this football game. Now, of course, stopping the run is going to help stop the pass too. But I think you really have to limit some of those big plays, and that's also the biggest area of weakness for the 49ers is that back end in the secondary. Shaylah $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Based on last year, how many of our starters do you think were going to lose this offseason that could hurt next year? It's a tough question. Couple of guys on that defense. Like you have to figure out what you're going to do in that secondary. Jason Verrett had signed that 1-year deal. And you're going to have to find a top-tier cornerback. I think that's the biggest need in either the draft or in free agency. So losing Verrett isn't going to hurt, but you're going to have to replace him and find a number 1 cornerback. I'd look at the linebackers. Like, what do you do moving forward with Azeez Al-Shire as well as Dre Greenlaw? Both guys can play, but you're paying Fred Warner big money, and they could go elsewhere to make a lot of money themselves, depending on the current statuses of their contract. But they're guys that you're going to look to extend as well and bring back. So I'd look at those areas. KKV, do you think Brandon Aiyuk will have another amazing game against the Minnesota Vikings? Yeah. If Deebo Samuel continues to ball out like he's balled out, opens up a lot of opportunities for Brandon Aiyuk. I loved how they went to the podium together during their post-game press conferences after that Jags win. It just kind of shows that Deebo Samuel is showing Brandon Aiyuk the ropes. A lot of reports about Ayuk's lack of want-to in practice, his slow developing, him being in a sophomore slump. I think Deebo just kind of took him over his wing. And Aiyuk has been able to see how Deebo has played historic season. 5th most receiving yards through the first 10 games behind all 4 records by Jerry Rice up to this point. I think Aiyuk's going to continue to star. He's been great the last month. Shout out to today's sponsor, Fanatics, for making this mailbag possible here on the 49ers Report. A wonderful deal going on right now. You can get 50% off on this hoodie by just going to chatsports.com/49ers hoodie. Great material. It's a great look. Holiday season is here. Treat yourself, treat a friend, treat a loved one. 50% off on this hoodie. It was $70. It's on sale for $35 right now, but you have to use that link down below so that Fanatics knows that Chat Sports sent you. And for that deal to apply, hey, it's in the description as well as the comment section of this video. Shane Swisher, do you think the defense is up to a deep playoff run? I think it really all hinges on the offense. And if the offense continues to move the chains, eat up clock, you win that turnover battle, you don't cough up the football, it all kind of replicates 2019. Now, the defense in 2019 was better. I'm more so focusing in on the offense. But that year, the offensive line, great, open up those running lanes. The ground game was awesome with the variety of backs, really led by Raheem Mostert that year. But what I'm seeing the last couple of weeks from this 49ers offense reminds me a lot of 2019. You're not forcing or asking Jimmy Garoppolo to do all that much, and if that ground game gets going, it just does wonders for this pass game under Kyle Shanahan's offense. Bayboy24, thoughts on Josh Norman and how he's played this year? I don't know. Do I have to eat the crow? I had said a couple weeks ago that he's washed, he's old, he's slow, he keeps getting penalized, the latter of which is extremely true. But in 8 games this year, all of which he's started, he has forced 5 fumbles. And I don't think you can overlook that. Those forced turnovers are a huge deal. And when you're on the right side of the turnover battle, it's crazy how often you end up winning games. I think if you win the turnover battle, you win in the NFL like something crazy, 80% of games. I'll check back on that specific number. But the point is, you're on the right side of that turnover battle. You win a lot of football games. And while Josh Norman has been bad in coverage, he's been really good as a disruptor. And that's why he's been able to extend his career. He's 34 years old right now. He's not the all-pro and the pro bowler that he once was. But he's bringing value to this defense with his ability to manufacture turnovers, because that can change the momentum of games. Gray Norman's play this year. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm still saying somewhere in that C range, because while forcing the football over is good, you still have to be good in coverage. And Josh Norman has not been that, and he's been flagged a lot. And that penalty against Arizona, the unsportsmanlike conduct call, really zapped a lot of momentum from the 49ers defense then. So Gray Norman's play this year for me. Emmanuel Milan, can we get a second-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo? If he plays like he's played the last 3-4 weeks, I think you can, because there are teams in the NFL that need a quarterback right now and are going to need a quarterback next year. Off the top of my head, Pittsburgh Steelers, Miami Dolphins, Washington Football Team, Denver Broncos, Houston Texans. There's several teams right there that could use Jimmy Garoppolo. And he's been playing really efficient football and accurate football the last couple of weeks. So if he plays like he's played the last month, I don't think a second-round pick is out of the equation, because if you don't have a quarterback, you're stuck in purgatory. And if you're stuck in purgatory, you're screwed. Shaylah, another $5 super chat. Beer money. Awesome. Cheers to that. I am going to sip a lot of beers on Sunday for that watch party because of your $5 super chat. Without a doubt, count on it. Bring it to the bank. Shaylah, greatly appreciate the $5 super. Wet Noodle 187 from Spokane, Washington, in enemy territory. Sea chickens suck, by the way. What are your thoughts about the Seattle game getting flexed? Whiskey is the best side dish. I like whiskey too. I've been testing some Screwball whiskey, that peanut butter whiskey. It's really good. Right now at the crib on my bar cart, I have Wild Turkey, I guess inspired by Matthew McConaughey, his book Green Lights. Really good book, by the way. Whiskey is a good side dish. What do I think about that game getting flexed? It's all because the Seahawks are awful right now. And the 49ers are 2-13 in their last 15 games against Seattle, regular season and playoffs. I'm hoping that comes to an end in 2 weeks, because that, like the Vikings game, going to have a lot of playoff implications. EBC, trade Jimmy G to the Giants. Daniel Jones stinks. When does Bosa and Debo's contract end, and what are possible contracts for them? Well, producer Marshall Green is a Giants fan, host of New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. Go to youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. Jimmy G to the Giants, yes or no? No. I actually think Daniel Jones is pretty good. I just want to see what he can do with a competent offensive coordinator. As for Bosa and Debo, they're going to get really big contracts that pays them the likes of some of the best edge rushers and wide receivers in the NFL. They're going to get big money. Angel, my birthday is tomorrow, going to the 49ers game this Sunday. Hopefully we get the win. Angel, happy birthday to you. Hopefully the 49ers get the dub against the Minnesota Vikings. Have a great week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have a great birthday, and enjoy the game on Sunday. Last question from Ron Gallagher. In my opinion, we have two tough games still. At the Bengals, at the Titans. And two should be wins that they need to win to make the playoffs. Vikings and Hawks. If we lose on Sunday, do we have to win out to make the playoffs? No. No. There'll be 6 losses on the year. You can still make the playoffs with a 9-8 record. I think that's how closely contested the NFC is going to be. So, no. If you lose on Sunday, it's not going to be the end of the season. It does, though, improve their playoff hopes dramatically. Make sure you give me a follow on Twitter at Chase_Senior. Hit me up. Love talking Niners with the Niner gang. I'm always down to chat. Slide in my DMs to talk Niners, talk life advice, talk NFL. And also, before we get out of here, on our live show and on this mailbag, if you're watching this after the fact, after our live show wraps up, show producer Marshall Green some love as well. His follower count continuing to grow. As I mentioned, covers the NFL and the NBA for us here at Chat Sports, specializes with the New York Football Giants. Show him that the Niner gang shows out and balls out by giving him a follow on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_.